There's no way around that. That's just,
Yeah, the word for that is glare.
yeah.
So how exciting is it that now we have Diana TCs that come in full gambit of colors?
Ever expanding.
Yeah. Yeah, these are new ones. We haven't, I don't even think these are on the website yet.
Nope.
They're freshly out of the finishing department. And basically we told those guys, hey, go nuts. Bought a bunch of more colors, said mix them up, do what you want. A lot of these are just custom. They're not,
Yeah.
you can't even, I don't even know they can make another one.
Well, not exactly the same, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But you've been kind of working with these guys too. We got only so many leathers and stuff, colors
Right.
to use, but we're mixing and matching with the finishes. And anyway, available from abyssheadphones.com if you guys want custom Diana TCs. On another note, today's topic. I happened to catch a video that Paul from PS Audio was doing. And something about, someone wrote in saying about what makes a system, what causes listener fatigue in certain systems. I think they were primarily keying in on speaker systems. But
Probably. Yeah, I
Headphone-
didn't see it, but yeah.
yeah, but headphones are the same thing.
Yeah.
But and the thing is, like Paul's response was something to the effect that in the hierarchy of things to blame, he said that the first thing would be the music, the actual source material you're listening to.
Mm-hmm.
The second is the electronics, and the third is the speakers. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I would have put it in the same order.
Mhm.
I think I probably would have put speakers first, but it's something
Well,
to think
I
about.
think music probably is first, because I mean, if you have like just music that's just like, poorly recorded or whatever, I mean, there's no way, nothing downstream would matter to make it like sound not.
That's for sure. In fact, the better the system,
Yeah,
the worse a poor recording sounds. For the most part.
yeah,
So yeah, that's true. If you listen to stuff that just is brutal
yeah,
on most systems, then that should be your clue.
right.
Like, did you ever hear that music good on any system? And if you did, maybe you should buy that system.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to like tune your system around what you're listening to, yeah, then you'd have to change your electronics or your speakers to, so it's not as fatiguing. So you'd make different choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'd want a speaker that's probably not as revealing, or not bright at all. Or you want something dull,
Right. But
So-
to blame the music at first up front, I get that because
Yeah.
there is a lot of
I mean,
music.
there's no way to
that's-
fix it without.
Well, yeah, it's true.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Find different music.
Well, yes.
And we get that too. On people get, our headphones are system higher end systems that they've never been into before, and they start hearing things they never heard before, and that's you get that all the time. It's like, I'm hearing this I never heard. Or this sounds bad. Or this sounds good. Or this sounds great, but this doesn't. And yeah, you almost need to learn you need to almost explore within your genres that you're that you normally listen to, explore and find better recordings.
Yeah, we see that. I see that from time to time. People on the internet talking about it's like, oh, well, particularly in like metal, everybody's looking for like well-recorded metal songs because like when they're badly recorded, it could just be like
Rip you apart.
Yeah, so you're looking specifically for well-recorded ones, and then everybody likes to share them with her. Oh, I found a good one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean it's interesting, and I mean, of course, nothing was mentioned about with speakers in the room.
right.
I mean,
well,
you have placement issue with speakers too. So if you do point the finger at the speakers, you may want to look at your room. How near are you to the speakers? Did you try tone them in or tone them out? Moving them away from the rear walls. Things, move them around the room to help them.
Well, the biggest thing, especially for fatigue in general, I'd say is like giant windows next to speakers.
big time.
That's like getting reflections off glass.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. That's just
Yeah, the word for that is glare.
yeah.
If your music sounds glaring, what do you got in the room?
Yeah, I mean, get some blinds, something.
You got a glass table, glass floors,
Yeah.
glass walls. Yeah, you're going to
Yeah.
need some curtains or rugs or
Something.
carpets. Or,
Yeah, I ran into that at my house in the living room. Yeah, what wood floors, and I had a glass top table. Oh yeah, and like everything off my center channel would just be reflecting like right in your face. You know, it was just like
Yeah.
glaring. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
So I put a big carpet down, and that helped out a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, changed the coffee table, and then
Yeah, I've had rooms. I've heard rooms where the carpet doesn't matter, and I think those tend to be larger rooms, and in that sense, it probably isn't as much the room. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you have a really big room,
right.
then the reflections are so spread out. I mean, the initial, the what do you call it? The first incidents or the first reflection of the speakers are probably behind you.
Mm.
They bounce off the wall and they go back, and I mean, depending on, and usually you're way further away from the speakers, so the speakers aren't as in your face.
Yeah.
As if you're in a smaller room, you tend to be closer to them. The vice versa is, the opposite's true. So, yeah, I mean, where it is in a room matters. I mean, you could always try a different room if you have other rooms, but
But yeah, I guess the tried and true method is tow them in a lot, move closer, and then essentially getting rid of the room. I mean, you always can't do that, obviously.
No.
But that's
But-
what, at least to just try it, see if the room is your problem.
yeah.
But yeah, especially with like bass and stuff. But I guess bass doesn't really get as fatiguing. I don't know. Can it?
It can be.
I mean,
If you have room modes, which is
Yeah, I guess.
typical,
Like
it gets
boomy.
boomy.
Yeah.
It depends where, again, position matters in there. You can move 2 feet and it goes away or gets worse.
true.
But in the headphone realm, we should talk about that because
Right.
that's kind of what we make.
Yeah.
You don't get you don't get a chance to change the room in the headphones for the most part.
Right.
They are supposedly set up. The room's set up with the ear pads and how they fit and all that stuff. So, that in that sense, I'm not sure, if I'd put that last on the list. Music, electronics, headphones. I think it'd almost be like headphones, electronics, music.
I don't know. I think music's still probably top, but the thing is, well, with 1266, that's a whole different thing though, because then you got adjustment. You can change what it sounds like
Yeah,
track
right.
to track, so you can actually adjust if something is a little bit too much one way or the other. You can adjust it. So
In essence, vary the room.
right,
Vary your placement and your ear placement in the room.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool in that sense. And I mean, our stuff, at that level, it also requires pretty good electronics if you really want to, not give it too much information in one particular area of the spectrum or flatten the sound by stripping harmonics. Some amps do that. So a lot of people like tube gear with the 1266, which
Right.
is hard to come by, a higher powered. There's not a lot of high powered headphone tube amps out
I
there.
mean they exist. But
They're getting there.
Yeah.
They're showing up more and more. But yeah. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting take and it's something to think about. It's like,
Yeah.
well, what to blame? And personally, the way I look at it is you really got to have someone experienced look at the entire system.
yeah, well that
Right.
would help. Yeah,
What are you using? Tell us what you're using, and then we'll point to what the most suspect is.
yeah.
you know?
I mean, just doing shows for so long. Yeah, I mean every show is different. You got different electronics, different speakers, different rooms. So
Every time.
you have to learn. Yeah, what you think is the biggest problem.
Yep. Yeah,
Tackle
we
it.
even use, since we're JPS Labs, we make cables. We use the cables too to fine tune these systems. Because we could throw a shit ton more res out of it with certain products, certain cabling, or we could just keep it tame or easy going with certain other ones. So we've always used that primarily on the source. Usually you'll play around with the DAC or the interconnects running from the DAC or something. You could help it. Versus the opposite. If something's lean sounding and you throw some pure silver interconnect in there, it's probably not going to help your situation. So there's things you could do and play around with materials, that help. Or hell, sometimes, like you said, we got to mix and match. You got to change the gear out. You got to
Right.
put one DAC with the other amp or vice versa. You got to figure out where there's a balance struck just for the show.
Right.
But see, that doesn't really fit as many people in a home environment, but I guess it does because they're doing the same thing. They're kind of mixing and matching too, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. Like Rocky Mountain, when you have like 7 or 8 separate systems, it's like, oh my god, figuring
That
out
was
what's
brutal.
going with what. You got boxes everywhere. You got tripping over stuff.
Yeah, and 2 or 3 are stuff we've almost never heard before.
That's the other thing. Yeah, this is new. You know.
we got this amp, never used it. All
Yeah.
right, now you got to rock through 7
Yeah.
different power chords.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, people be surprised how much of a variable it is.
Yep. Well, not
know?
only that, it's like, does it work well with a certain amp? Sometimes like the source isn't hot enough, for like a lower powered
Oh, right.
tube amp or
Yeah,
something. Then
yeah,
you've
what-
never used it. So.
Yeah, what's the level out the DAC we need for
Yeah.
this amp
Yeah.
to make it work right? Yeah. I mean, you could spend an hour on tweaking one system.
Yeah.
And you've got a show to do.
Well, that's the
So,
thing. Yeah, you're tired.
Yeah.
You know, you just got off the plane. You know, jet lag. You know.
Yeah, we usually try to do that like the first day and hope it's not, the mornings aren't so busy. You get in there and go, all right, let's figure this out.
Well, that is how it goes.
fine-tune
Like, do it the night before. Then we're like, we'll come tomorrow and see how it sounds and
Yeah.
any final tweaks that need to happen.
But it just shows people like, that we go through this, it shows.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need to do at home. It's the same deal.
Yeah.
You have to, if you're set up with a particular headphone, you build a system around it. And that's the kind of way it's been with speakers and headphones, which is, probably why Paul would blame the speakers last, because, well, the idea is to build around the speaker, and get the system right.
Well, that's true. I guess, yeah, that's
know?
like your solid anchoring point,
Yeah.
You need to be able to drive them for one,
So get the best speaker or headphone you can,
Yeah.
build around it. And then, and obviously you're using your music to do that.
Right.
So you'll make it fit sooner or later. And if you can't, then I guess you can use Chicana headphones or speakers. Anyway, we can get going. On that note, everyone, subscribe to us, thumbs us up if you like this video, and take care of yourselves. Thanks.